Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Almost Normal. Recently, my mental health has been excellent. My mental health has been off the charts, okay? I have never felt better. And I would put that down probably to the fact that I stopped taking the contraceptive pill because ever since then, and also starting therapy. I think those two things happened at the same time. So it's kind of hard to say exactly what the catalyst to this great mood was. But it was one of those two things. So I'm just going to not change either of them just in case it was one or the other, not both combined. I don't know, whatever. Recently, my mental health has been excellent. OCD symptoms really, really low. I'm not checking things as much. I'm not panicking as much. I'm not obsessing as much. My mind will worry about something quite quickly and then it will move on pretty fast. And I'm able to enjoy the things in front of me. I'm able to enjoy food. I'm able to enjoy conversations. I can be with my friends and not freak out. I can be at the pub and not be like, did I accidentally drink alcohol? I can do all of these things. I can go to public bathrooms and not come back crying because like I've convinced myself something bad happened. My mental health has really been in a good place. And I've been reveling in that. I've just been like, oh, I don't want this to end. Okay, I do not want this to end. And as an anxious person all the time, even if my mental health is at the all-time high, I will have some anxiety. So obviously my anxiety is like, when is this going to end? When is this going to end? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Just enjoy the moment. Just enjoy the moment because we don't know how long it's going to last, okay? But it's been great. I've been so happy. It's been summertime, obviously, and it's just been such a wonderful combination of being like with family and traveling and just not having this sort of overwhelming sense of doom and fear inside of me 24/7. And I don't think I've had many summers where I could say that was the case. And so this has been great. This has been absolutely, I couldn't ask for more than that, really. Personally, doesn't matter where I am, doesn't matter who I'm with, if my mental health is not doing so well, then I fail to be able to enjoy anything. Doesn't matter if I'm sitting in front of the most amazing table of food with all of my favorite people in my favorite place ever, like sun shining. It doesn't matter. If my mental health is not in a good place, I'm just not going to be able to enjoy it because I'm not going to be physically there. I'm just going to be all up in my head all the time. So it simply doesn't matter where I am because I'll just be in my brain worrying about something that doesn't exist probably. But anyway, recently it's been really great. It's been really wonderful. I've just been having a great time. The other night, I experienced probably one of the most traumatic moments of my life. I don't think I'm going to go into detail today about it, maybe someday soon when I've processed what's going on a little more. But yes, I experienced something that I was not prepared for. It was not expected. It was completely a shock. And it absolutely altered my brain chemistry in a way that I was not expecting at all. During and right after till now, and continuing now, my mental health has gone down the shitter, okay? I am so anxious. I'll wake up at 5 a.m. shivering, which is, when I know it's really bad, when I can't sleep. Sleeping is my favorite thing to do ever. I can't really enjoy foods anymore. I have this overwhelming sense of doom all the time. I've been really sad. I've been crying every day. I'll be walking down the street in a okay mood, and then suddenly something will pop into my mind, and I'll just sort of break down. And my mental health has gone from 100 to basically like a 2. It's just not good. When something bad happens, when an event occurs that affects my mental health, I tend to go through these mental processes that make everything so much worse. My mind is pretty self-centered, I would say. My mind is pretty obsessed with how things affect me and can very easily make me forget how things affect everyone else around me. And in this particular scenario, I'm not the only one involved, okay? There are many, many other people that were deeply affected by this. And I want to be there for them, okay? I really, really want to be there for them. And that does not mean that I'm not allowed to be sad. That does not mean I'm not allowed to be emotional about it. Of course I can. That is just a human process that we all go through when we experience something, abnormal in our lives, whether it's good or bad or whatever. But there are things that my brain does that I can get stuck on, which will put me at the center. It'll make me obsess about myself. And when I do that, I'm not really available to be supportive for other people. I'm not really available to be there for people. I'm not really available to turn up for people because I'm just so obsessed with myself and I'm so down on myself. And I'm like, wow, this event really fucked me up. Like, oh my God, like I can't, live life any longer. I can't talk to other people about it. Like I have to focus on how I'm going to make myself feel better. I don't want to talk to other people about their own problems with it, and I get so self-centered about things, and I really don't want to. It's not something that I try and do. It's something that I try to not do. But I've noticed that during this particular scenario, I've been doing it full force and it's making everything worse. It is making everything worse. So I want to vocalize those things and what I've been telling myself to try and avoid doing those things as much as possible, because I think this video is probably going to be as helpful for me as it will be for anyone watching this, just because I think vocalizing things is really important. Manifestation, So I'm going to go through a list of things that I do and sort of how I've been trying to let those thoughts arrive, but also, swiftly move them away from what's going on in my head. Anyway, let's start. Number one is the comparison trap. Now, as I said in the beginning of this video, my mental health was like really great. It was really great. It was better than ever. Okay. It was wonderful. I was so happy about it. And then this thing happened and it went from 100 to like a 0. And something that I do that is just so unhelpful is I compare. I compare myself to myself, okay? I say, oh my God, I would do anything to go back and I would do anything to feel the way I used to feel, and I don't want to feel like this anymore and I want to go back. And then that causes me to say, oh, I wish I wasn't there during that event. I wish I wasn't there. I would do anything to not be there. And that becomes regret, and that becomes wanting to change the past. And that is never, ever, ever going to happen. And honestly, talking to a bunch of other people that experienced this thing, they were very, very glad that there was a lot of family around, okay? And they were very thankful that they didn't have to go through that thing alone. And I have to remember that, okay? And I have to remember that life is full of up and downs, and we cannot be mentally always on the same level. It's just not going to work. And it's like, I know that, okay? As tumultuous as my mental health has been throughout my whole life, like, I should know that, okay? Sometimes it goes down, but it will come back up, and you can't change the past, and regretting things is just useless. And what I have to really focus on is the fact that I was there and I was a support and I was helpful. And yes, I had to also go through this traumatic event with other people, but that's okay, because I was probably there for a reason. I was probably there to support the other people I love. And if I really, really think about this event, a huge part of what makes me sad is how it is affecting one other particular person in my family. And so the fact that I was there, if I take myself out of the center of that, I should be so happy that I was there. And yes, it's affected my mental health a bit, but I can ride that with other people I love, okay? We can go through it together. And I think that that's a really important thing to remember. And I think it's really important to remember that it'll go back up, Time heals things. Maybe we won't be the same. Maybe it's going to be a little different, but that's okay. That's literally life. And the amount of times I've gone from being really good mentally to really bad, I know that it will get better. I know my mental health will get back. And I have to just be thankful that I know that, because I do know that. And I have to make myself not forget that. I can't forget that, and I can't be self-obsessive about it and regret and want to go back. Whatever happened has already happened, and that's that. That's that. That's life. Life is up and down all the time. It's okay. This is just another chapter of our lives. This is just a new chapter. Maybe it's not starting out the greatest, but it's starting and something new is happening. And I just have to remember that and not compare. I cannot compare myself to myself. It was out of my control whether I was going to be there or not. And, and then I start going through like, oh, what if I didn't stay in London as long? Maybe I caused this. Maybe I wanted to, I didn't have to be there. It would have been easy if I just wasn't there. It's like, no, you were there for a reason. You were there to support your family. Yes, you were going through the emotional waves as well, but that's just life. That's just life, okay? And you'll get back up. You'll get back up and you'll get back up stronger, I think. So that's number one. Number one is no comparing. No comparing, okay? Life is like this. We can't go back. Things happen, and we got to just remember that it'll make us stronger in the end. And I really do believe that. And as much trauma as I feel like I've been through, which, is not a crazy amount, but some, like, I know that when I come out of it, I feel better. Once that dip in mental health starts to rise a little bit, I feel better. I feel stronger. I feel like I have more experiences to share with other people who may need them. So anyway, that's number one, the comparison trap. The next thing is the doom spiral. Now, this is a weird one because I am sad or my mental health isn't good because a bad thing happened, okay? And it was an unusual bad thing. It was not a string of bad things. It was just one bad thing. So I don't know why I do this, but I go on this mental journey of doom and convincing myself that the next bad thing is coming. And I am waiting for the next bad thing. And I have this sense of doom. This impending doom is coming. Where is it going to come from? How am I going to feel when that happens? Like, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for this terrible thing to arise. Which is interesting because the terrible thing already happened, The terrible thing already happened, and it was an anomaly. Like, it's not like I've had weeks and weeks of awful things happening, and then I'm like, okay, when's the next one? All right, I'm waiting for the next one. This was a completely random shock event that was abnormal, 100%. It is not a pattern. I have not experienced a pattern in this situation. It was just one event, okay? That was it. And so I don't know why I'm convincing myself that another thing's going to come along. The bad thing already happened. The worst thing already happened. And of course, maybe in life, other bad things might happen eventually, but I can't bank on that. I can't live my life waiting for that because I'm going to be so miserable. I have to remind myself that I've already been through the worst of it. The bad thing already happened, okay? And now we're in a state of healing. We should not be waiting for the next shoe to drop. We should not be waiting for the next thing to come about because it's not going to. And even if it is, we got to cross that bridge when we get to it. We cannot prepare for a bad thing that doesn't exist yet. Okay, we have to be really kind to ourselves and remember the bad thing already happened. And now you're healing. And that's that. And I know that sense of doom is very common when traumatic events occur. But just remember, like, the bad thing already happened and you're in a state of healing now. And that's all that matters. And if a bad thing happens again, we'll deal with it then. But for now, just focus on being kind to yourself and do not convince yourself that something bad's around the corner, okay? The bad thing already happened. The worst of it has already occurred. You are now in the state of healing. Just remember that. Okay, number 3, the guilt for having a good time. This has been strong within me. My husband decided to take me to Paris for a few days to sort of get away, which I think is really, really lovely. And I have been having a really, really great time. And it was honestly a great thing to just get away for a couple days and sort of let the people at home have their space to process alone without me, and I'll be back. And I think that's a really nice thing to have a little bit of time away from each other. I think it was the best situation. And so I'm in Paris. I'm in this beautiful city with a person I love, and we're eating delicious food and walking around. The weather's great. It's just all amazing. But I have every hour or so this sort of feeling of like gloom will come over me, and I will suddenly feel so guilty for having a good time. I will be like, why do I think I deserve to have a good time now? Like, what the fuck am I doing? I have to go back into my hotel room, I have to get under the covers, and I have to go to sleep and cry. Okay, I cannot have a good time. All right, I will be halfway through a steak and I'll be like, wow, this is a great steak. And then halfway through, I'll be like, why are you enjoying yourself? Why are you enjoying yourself? Why are you having a good time? You shouldn't be eating. Eating is for people that are having a good time. Eating are for people that deserve it. You don't deserve it. You should not be having a good time. You should be grieving as everyone else is. And this is a terrible way to think. A terrible, terrible way to think. You went through a traumatic experience. You went through a bad thing, okay? It was unfair, all right? It was unfair. You shouldn't have gone through that, but you did. And so to punish yourself even further and say, oh, I should not be having a good time, I should not be trying to distract myself from what's going on, is absurd. You should be trying to have a better time than you ever have ever in your life, okay? There are no rules to grieving. There are no rules, okay? You do not have to sit and mourn alone and cry and listen to sad music and just, be a wreck. You don't have to do that. You have to do everything you can to make yourself feel as good as possible. And I think that a huge thing to remember is that you're never alone in one of these experiences. And I think to say, oh, I need to feel good in order to help other people is really helpful, because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't want to feel good for myself. Like, that's so selfish. But if you say, look, the better you feel, the better you're going to be able to turn up for the other people that need you, that's really, really helpful. And I think I have to tell myself that all the time. You are allowed to enjoy things. You are allowed to have a good time. You went through a traumatic experience. You should be enjoying yourself as much as possible now, more than ever. And if you can't do it for yourself, do it for other people, and just say, the better I feel now, the more I will be able to support other people that need me, okay? And just tell yourself that. It's really true. It's really, really, really true. Okay. I had to kind of take a trip away for a couple days because I feel like I was not helping. And I feel like my sort of self-centeredness was really getting in the way of the situation. And it's really been very helpful these past couple days for me to be like, I need to be the best version of myself now, as much of a good version of myself as I can be now, so I can be there for other people. And that's been really, really helpful. And that sort of takes myself away from it. That takes myself out of the center of it. And I need that. So anyway, that is three. That's number 3. Number 4 is the self-blame loop. This has been a deep one for me. This has been a very, very deep one for me. I, every morning, wake up, and then every hour throughout the day will say, is this my fault? Did I cause this? Could I have done something? Me, okay? And I think that I'm doing a good thing, okay? And this is where it gets tricky. I think I'm doing a good thing because I'm like, look, if I take the blame here, then maybe other people can feel better. If I can say, oh, what if it was my fault? I can make other people feel better. They can say, oh, maybe it was Rita's fault, This does the opposite. This does the absolute opposite, okay? There are a few sort of decisions that were to be made after this event happened, and a lot of these decisions should have been someone else's decision, 100%. And because I had centered myself in the situation, because I had said, oh, maybe it's my fault, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, I needed desperately to make myself feel better. And so the decisions that were made after, I tried to sort of like, put my 2 cents in about it, because I needed a certain decision to be made in order to make myself feel better, in order to convince myself that it wasn't my fault. Because at the end of the day, even if I'm saying, oh, it's my fault, maybe, that's helpful, people can blame me, it's not. Because you're still self-centering yourself. I keep saying that, self-centering yourself. You're still putting yourself in the center. and then you're still needing your needs to be met. You're still desiring your needs to be met in order for you to make yourself feel better. You have to step out of that center. You have to say, it wasn't my fault, okay? I'm not the center of the universe. I'm not the center of the situation whatsoever. I'm literally here to help other people. I'm not the center of the universe. Ooh, the sun is starting to come out. So exciting. Also, by the way, just randomly, I got an iced coffee this morning and I started to walk around the streets of Paris. It literally looks like I was sipping on a cocktail at 9 a.m. I don't know why he put this little boysenberry or whatever that is on the side of my coffee, but anyway. Sorry, side quest there. I'm not in the center of this situation, okay? And as much as I think I'm being self-deprecating, as much as I think I'm being like the Jesus figure, being like, it was my fault, I will take the blame, okay? I will, take the sin or whatever happened there. It doesn't help. It is not helping. It is not helping. It's making me feel worse. It's making me obsess over my own desires. It is making me think, oh, what can I do to make myself feel better? What can I do to make myself feel better? Oh, if I'm in the center of it, then I must feel the worst. No. No. Unhelpful. Unhelpful to everyone. Unhelpful to every single person. You got to remove yourself from the center. Remove yourself from the center. These things happen. These things happen. We got to be there for the people around us. We got to ask what they want, what's going to make them feel better, okay? Do not get wrapped up in the things that you wish you needed. It's just going to make you worse. I have to say, by the way, like all of these little things will make you feel better. I don't know if I expressed that in the beginning of this video, but like, yes, it's helpful for the other people around you, but it's also helpful for you, okay? To take yourself out of the center is extremely helpful with anxiety and depression and all of that. And to put your energy into other people is very helpful. So yeah, those are kind of the top mental games I've been going through that I've really been trying to step away from, and honestly, vocalizing them right now has been very helpful. I feel good, or I feel better. Good is not the word. But I feel better. And these things are not instantaneous. They will not suddenly make you, cure your mental illness or whatever. And you have to do these things a lot throughout the day. But when you do them, it'll give you relief for sure. And as someone with severe OCD and anxiety, I can tell you that it's I find it very hard to control my brain. I find it extremely hard to tell my brain to do what it doesn't want to do. But it can happen. It can happen. I just have to accept the thoughts that my brain is giving me and give it another solution, work it a different way. Say, okay, you're thinking this, but what if we say that this and this and this as well? And, I think fighting the thoughts is bad. I don't think you should sort of try and block out any negative thought that your brain gives you, because I think that causes panic, and then that just, again, makes everything worse. You've really got to be strategic with your brain, because it's smart. It knows how to do things. And all, the things are not always beneficial for you. I think it is trying to protect you. But, it's not always helpful. It's not always helpful to be in a state of fight or flight. It's not always, the best route to overcome these events. I think something to remember is, after trauma, we are not trying to get back to who we used to be before it, all right? We are trying to find ourselves after. We are trying to figure out who we are after. And I think that as human beings, if we could push a button and say, I never want to experience anything traumatic or anything bad ever in my life, I think we would push it. But I feel like the human species would be pretty underdeveloped, all right? I think that bad things, traumatic things make us stronger. I really do. And I think that we should, if we could take any sort of silver lining from it, we will be stronger after it, and we will, learn how to overcome these feelings. We will convince ourselves and tell ourselves that we can get through this, and we'll just be able to walk taller, walk stronger. And I think that it's important. It's horrible, but it's important for us to develop, for us to become the people that we want to be. um and yeah, so I just remember that. I know that it feels unfair and you want to go back, but it's all part of the process, and you're going to be a really great human being after it. So I just want to say that. um and also, I'll just end with this: it is better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all. And that is something I have to remind myself, because I can also go into those moments where I say, oh, I wish I didn't, know, I wish I didn't know this thing or this person. I wish I didn't have this person or this thing in my life. I wish I didn't. But what are we going to do? Just never love anyone? We can't do that. Humans we run on love, It's the best. So don't let fear make you not want to love. And I'll just end on that. So yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you for sitting and listening to me. I feel a lot better, actually. So, I appreciate that. Um, and I will see you very, very soon. And oh, if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you do. It's super helpful to me. But anyway, I hope everyone is happy and safe. And I love you all. And I will see you soon. All right. Love you.